Assalamu alaikum and welcome to 1 to Infinity Reinforcement Club. Today I'll make a video on simple and decimal fractions, and this video is specifically for one of my very favorite students. And today she won't be able to attend the class, but she made so many arrangements. She tried to attend the class, but unfortunately she could not. So the main purpose of making this video is just to make her understand about today's lecture. Today our topic was simple and decimal fractions. I have already made another video of fractions, but it was the continuation of syllabus, so that's why I'm repeating it again, and there will be a few more good things in it. First of all, we should know that what is fraction. So fraction is when a unit is divided into any number of equal parts. Then these parts are termed as fraction of the unit. For example, I have given an example in my previous video of a pizza. Like today, we take an example of a cake. तो जब आप एक बर्थडे केक लेके आते हो या वैसे भी अगर आप एक केक की पिक्चर को देखो तो यू विल सी दैट कि वो एक होल फॉर्म में होता है एंड देन देयर आर द number of people are there and we divided the parts of cake into the equal parts and then it will become the fraction of it, राइट 1/2 1/3 1/8 जितना भी आपको उसके पार्ट्स करने होते हैं अकॉर्डिंग टू द नंबर ऑफ पीपल. So when we divide a whole unit into the equal parts, then it will become a fraction. Now question arises, what is simple fraction? The simple fraction which has a denominator other than the power of 10 is called simple fraction. It means that अगर आपके denominator में power 10 नहीं है, ये आपका डिनोमिनेटर है, यहाँ पे पावर 10 नहीं है, अदर देन 10 है, then it will be known as your simple fraction, right? And if we write a fraction 8 by 11, then 8 will be considered as your numerator and 11 will be known as your denominator, because numerator is the upper part of the fraction and denominator is the lower part of the fraction. Now there is a point that types of fractions, that how many types of fractions are there. So the first one is the proper fraction. Proper fraction is the fraction when the numerator is less than the denominator. Then the fraction is known as a proper fraction. I have given an example of 3 by 7, 8 by 20 and 23 by 70. It means that your numerator is smaller than your denominator. So this fraction will be known as your proper fraction. Then another point is improper fraction, and this is another type of fraction. So when your numerator is greater than your denominator, then the fraction is known as your proper fraction. So example will be, for example, 87 by 21, 91 by 17. It means your numerator is greater than your denominator. Here it is 91, it is 17. So compound fraction. Compound fraction is a fraction in which numerator and denominator both in a fraction is called a compound fraction. For example, if you are having a numerator and denominator, and your numerator is also a fraction and your denominator is also a fraction, right? तो ये आपका बन जाएगा कंपाउंड फ्रैक्शन, यानी आपकी होल फ्रैक्शन में फर्दर आपके पास कैटेगराइज होके क्लासीफाई होके टू फ्रैक्शंस आ जाएंगे. Okay, and then you will have your inverse fraction. Inverse fraction is the fraction, if we inverse the numerator and denominator of a fraction, then the resultant fraction will be inverse fraction of the original fraction. How? Like for example, you have given an fraction 3 by 8 and then you change the denominator with numerator and numerator with denominator. So your inverse fraction will be 8 by 3. This form of fraction will be known as inverse fraction of the given fraction. Now we will have your mixed fraction. Mixed fraction is the fraction in which the combination of integer and fraction is there. For example, the fraction which is the combination of whole number and a fraction, or the fraction can be proper or improper both, that will be known as your mixed fraction. For example, when you are having 2 as an integer, a whole number, and 3 by 5 is your proper fraction, right? And 3 is your whole number and 9 by 8 is your improper fraction. So this fraction, this type of fraction is known as mixed fraction. Now we are having continuous fraction. A continuous fraction is a fraction which contains additional fractions in its denominators. Is called continuous fraction. So continuous fraction can be like this: 2 plus 1, 1 by 2 plus 2 by 5 plus 2 by 3. So this is the continuation of the fractions. So what we can find the difference in continuous fraction and compound fraction? In continuous fraction, you will find the continuity in the denominators only. But if we talk about the compound fraction, you will see that there will be fractions in the numerator and denominator as well. So you can find the difference clearly. And when we simplify the continuous fraction, we need to see that it will start from the bottom and work upward. Like we will start to solve it from here, not from here, and we will end it till here too. So we will start solving the question from this part. Okay, there are few important facts there, so I thought that I would share with you. So the first one is, if the numerator is equal to denominator in a fraction, then the value of fraction is equal to 1. Like अगर आपका numerator and denominator दोनों same है, then your answer will be 1. How? Let's make an example of it. Like for example, if your numerator is 3 and your denominator is 3, so if you divide them, 1 time 3 is 3 and 1 time 3 is 3, then your answer will be 1 by 1 means 1. So your answer will be 1. The second fact is, if the numerator of fraction is non-zero and denominator is 0, then the value of fraction is infinity. Like अगर आपके पास कोई भी numerator है, say 4 है, 5 है, and your denominator is 0, then when your 0 becomes your denominator, then it will become, answer will be infinity. So we can say that it's 1 to infinity. That was the lighter part. And now we are having the third fact, that if the numerator of a fraction is 0 and the denominator is non-zero, then the value of fraction is 0. For example, अगर आपके पास numerator में 0 है और आपके पास denominator में 1 है या कोई भी digit है, say 4 है, then your answer will be 0. It will make it 0. And the fourth fact is, if the numerator and denominator of fraction is either multiplied or divided by same number, then the value of the fraction remains unchanged. How? We can call it as an equivalent fraction. Like for example, if you write like 2 by 3, right? And if you multiplied this 2 with 2 and 2, and then you find that 4 by 6, and again we divide them, like they comes in the same timetable of 2. 2 times 3 is 6 and 2 times 2 is 4. So answer will be 2 by 3. It means that it will become again 2 by 3. So this fact has proved that if the uh, uh, if the numerator and denominator of fraction is either multiplied or divided by same number, then the value of fraction remains unchanged, and we call such fractions as equivalent fractions. Now are having the second last point, that if the numerator and denominator have no common factor other than 1, then the fraction is to be known as its lowest form. Then आपकी fraction जो होगी वो lowest form में होगी. Like for example, if we are having 11 by 13 and we cannot further simplify it, and we cannot make it further divide in any number, then this fraction will be at its lowest form. यानी आप इसको further divide नहीं कर सकते हैं. And a fraction is a rational number as it can be expressed in the form of p by q. If you remember, in my last video we have made a video on the types of numbers. So there was a type of number that is rational number. So rational number was the number which we can write it into p by q form. So that means that our fraction, we can write it in this form, 11 by 13 say, so this is p by q form. So our fractions will be known as rational numbers. We end up here, and I'll make video on the solution of questions as well in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you will understand this video. Have a good day.